You walk into a room you have never entered before, and something in you goes cold. Because you know this room. You know the light falling across the floor. You know what the person beside you is about to say. And then they say it. For one impossible second, the present feels like a memory. You have been here before, except you haven't. You couldn't have. And just as you reach for the feeling, it dissolves, leaving only the strangest question a mind can ask itself. How do you remember something that has never happened? The French gave it a name: déjà vu, already seen. 2 words for one of the most common eerie experiences on Earth. Around 2 out of 3 people have felt it at least once. It crosses every culture, every language, every age. It has been blamed on past lives, on parallel universes, on glitches in some great simulation. For most of human history, it was treated as a message from somewhere else, a crack in the wall of reality, and for a heartbeat, you saw through it. But here is what makes déjà vu so unsettling to study. It is almost impossible to catch. It strikes without warning, lasts only seconds, and vanishes before you can examine it. You cannot summon it on command. For over a century, that made it nearly invisible to science. A ghost that refused to sit still long enough to be photographed. And so the myths filled the silence. Then researchers found a way in, not by waiting for déjà vu to strike at random, but by building it. In the lab, scientists began creating environments, virtual rooms, arrangements of objects, that secretly mirrored the spatial layout of rooms people had seen before, but couldn't consciously recall. And again, the feeling appeared on cue. That strange, electric sense of familiarity, manufactured on demand. The ghost finally held still. And what it revealed was happening inside your own skull all along. To understand it, you have to know that your memory is not one thing. It runs on 2 separate systems. The first is recollection, the slow, detailed retrieval, where you actually pull up where and when something happened. The second is familiarity, a fast, wordless signal that simply says, "I know this." You use familiarity constantly. It is the feeling of recognizing a face in a crowd a full second before you remember the name. One system flags that something is known. The other goes and finds the evidence. Déjà vu, the leading theory says, is the moment those 2 systems fall out of step. The familiarity signal fires, strong, certain, insistent. This is known. But when the brain turns to recollection to confirm it, to find the actual memory, there is nothing there. No when, no where. Just the raw, unattached sense of knowing, with no memory underneath it. Familiarity without a source. Your brain is shouting that you've been here before and cannot produce a single shred of proof. So where does that false signal come from? Trace it deep into the brain, into a region called the medial temporal lobe, the hippocampus, and the tissue wrapped around it, the machinery that stamps experience into memory. Brain recordings suggest déjà vu may begin here, with a tiny misfire. A flicker of activity in the circuits that detect familiarity, going off when nothing has actually been recognized. In people with a certain kind of epilepsy, doctors have even watched it happen. Small electrical storms in the temporal lobe that trigger intense, repeated déjà vu right before a seizure. The same region, the same false alarm, just turned up to a volume the rest of us rarely feel. And for a long time, that seemed like the whole answer. Déjà vu is a glitch, a memory system misfiring, a bug in the machine. But that's not the strange part. Because if déjà vu were simply an error, a broken memory, then the people with the worst memories should have it the most. And the exact opposite is true. Look at who actually gets déjà vu the most, and the glitch theory starts to crack. It isn't the old, it isn't the forgetful. It peaks in the young, strongest in your teens and 20s, and then, slowly, steadily, it fades for the rest of your life. The people with the sharpest, healthiest brains are the ones haunted by it most. If déjà vu is a failure of memory, why does it disappear exactly as memory itself begins to weaken? That single question turns the whole story inside out. The answer is the deepest and most beautiful theory we have. Déjà vu may not be your memory failing. It may be your memory checking itself, and you feeling it work. Picture a second system in your brain, a kind of internal fact-checker, sitting in the frontal lobes. Its job is to monitor your memories for conflict, to notice when something doesn't add up. When that false familiarity signal fires, this fact-checker catches it. It registers the contradiction. You feel like you've been here, but you know you haven't. And déjà vu, that specific, uncanny chill, may be the conscious sensation of that conflict being detected. The very feeling of your brain raising its hand and saying, "Wait, that isn't right," which explains everything the glitch theory couldn't. Why it peaks in the young. Because that frontal error-checking system is at its sharpest then, quick to catch the mismatch and flag it. And why it fades with age, not because older brains stop generating the false signal, but because the fact-checker grows quieter, and the error slips by unnoticed. The déjà vu may still be happening. You just stop being alerted to it. The feeling isn't the sign of a broken mind. It is the signature of a working one. To be young and full of déjà vu isn't a malfunction. It's a brain at the height of its powers, vigilantly guarding the line between what is real and what only feels real. We should be honest with you. This is not fully solved. Déjà vu is still one of the hardest things in the mind to pin down, precisely because it's so fleeting, and several theories still compete. There is no single proven answer carved in stone. But the evidence keeps pointing the same direction, away from glitches and ghosts, and toward something quietly extraordinary happening every time it strikes. Because think about what that means. For your whole life, an unseen part of you has been standing guard over your own reality, sorting the genuine from the false, testing every flicker of familiarity, every whisper of, "I have been here before," holding each one up to the light and asking, "Is this true?" Almost always, it works in silence, and you never know. Déjà vu is one of the rare moments the curtain slips, and you catch your own mind in the act of protecting you. So the next time it happens, that cold, electric certainty that you have lived this exact moment before, don't reach for past lives or parallel worlds. Something stranger and closer is true. That shiver is not a memory of another time. It is a message from the part of you that never stops watching, never stops checking, never stops keeping you anchored to what is real. It is your own mind, deep beneath your awareness, leaning in close to whisper a single word. Present. You are here. You have never been anywhere but here. And for one fleeting second, you got to feel it caring.